Ladies and gentlemen, hello, hello, hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now, and I say, hey now. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the line. Here we go. What a start to the week, my friend. That was a weird show yesterday, but had to do it. Had to do it. Steve West is back.
I am.
Steve, what's up, buddy?
Oh, just another beautiful day in the neighborhood. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm making it. How was your whole your
Oh, the prep
racing
as usual
conference?
sucked. You know, it's just the way that it goes.
Oh wait, I thought you went to like a racing conference.
No, that's this coming weekend.
Well, so what'd you do yesterday?
Colonoscopy.
Oh God.
Talked about it last hour. Again, the procedure in and of itself, nothing. You're knocked out for it. You just sleep off the anesthesia after the fact. It was all the prep work.
Wow. This whole time I thought you were in North Carolina, and yet you were in town getting stuff put up your behind end.
Yeah. Well, at least according to my doctor, I'm healthy.
Well, that's good. That's a plus. I guess I got to get that done. So everybody tells me, they're like, "You're 40, you got to do it now."
They usually say 45.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good on that. I'll do it at some point, but I'm not even gonna think about it right now.
Like I said, the worst part about it is the prep, because the stuff that they gave me, and there's probably some other stuff out there which I'm probably gonna have to look into, but that's the worst part of it because that stuff just tastes awful.
Is there not something where you could just poop in a box and mail it in?
Well,
Cologuard?
yeah, I mean you can do that, but that's not 100% foolproof.
Oh, what if you do it twice?
Good luck.
I mean, what if you said
At one point in time, they'll say, "Yeah, you really need to come in," and the next time they go, "Well, no, I don't. Well, we don't know. You better come in."
What if I send you like a week's worth of samples? Like that seems like a pretty good spread where you can figure out if anything is going on or not. But
Tell you what, you talk to your doctor, you work that out.
yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll get to the bottom of that.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah. So, well, I'm glad that worked out, and glad everybody's back in the saddle as we've had what a crazy weekend. And this, what happened yesterday, we talked a lot about some Epstein files, and when they dump it, it was actually best case scenario. Most of the time, you think when they dump a bunch of stuff on Friday, it kind of gets buried over the weekend, and then by the time Monday rolls around, there's new stories to talk about. But actually, dumping those 3 million pages of Epstein files, which are still being sifted through on Friday, gave people a couple of days to kind of gather what information they could and then provide it to their respective audiences on Monday, which is what we did. I heard that if you took the stacks of the Epstein files, the 3 million pages, that it was, if you stacked them up on top of each other, that it was like X number of times taller than the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, I could believe that.
Like 3 times taller than the Statue of Liberty or something crazy. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, we did some searching around. My co-host on the racing show on Saturday morning did some searching around. Turns out there's actually more than one NASCAR-related name that's involved in the Epstein files, too.
I saw the one. What's the other one?
Brian Vickers is mentioned. Michael Waltrip is mentioned. And apparently Joe Gibbs' name got thrown in there.
Wow. And what was the context on that?
I don't know the Joe Gibbs side.
Yeah.
I have to admit. But apparently there was a situation where Vickers and Michael Waltrip got sponsorship that came somehow through Epstein into the team back when Michael Waltrip owned his own team. And there is some word that maybe Brian Vickers was on one of the planes that went to Epstein's Island.
Yeah, because I was seeing stuff posted on X, and it was like, here's a clip of Dale Earnhardt Jr. wrecking that pedophile Vickers, and it showed us the clip from one of the races or whatever. So, boy, that's crazy. NASCAR even up in the mix, man. There's a bunch of names thrown out there, and some of the people, it's just they're innocently in there. Like John Jones, the UFC fighter, his name was in there, but it was because they were discussing how to order the pay-per-view of one of his fights years ago or something. So, context matters in a lot of those cases, and it's likely why it took them so long to put it out. Outside of the fact that 3 million pages is a lot of pages. Like, you can't just I understand we're in the day and age of AI and, they could just run 3 million pages through AI and get something back in 5 minutes, but they've still got to manually go through it and make sure things are redacted. Because, somebody's going to be unhappy about what's in there in the sense of even victims. There's a couple victims that have filed a suit in New York asking a federal judge to pull the DOJ's website down with the Epstein files, saying that they've got some sort of internal emergency or whatever. Which I don't know that that's actually going to happen, but there's several things in there where it's just the guy that produced the Melania movie, right?
Oh, is he
He's
in
in
there?
there. He's in
Ooh.
there in a picture with Epstein. Epstein's next to a girl, and he's next to a girl, and the girls' faces are blacked out. And he was asked about, I think he was on Piers Morgan's show, and he said that girl that's blacked out that he's next to, it was his fiance at the time, 20 years ago,
Oh,
and that he was invited, and that was the first and last time he met Jeffrey Epstein. Maybe it's that innocent. I haven't seen
could be.
anything
I don't know.
to be contrary to that, but that was the backstory that he gave on it, and so maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. I don't know, but everybody's in there. You know who's not? Who I hadn't seen in there? And of all people, I hadn't seen Michael Jackson in there. I had seen Michael Jackson, and it
Was
looks
that
like
rumored to be there?
all these people turning out to be pedophiles, and Michael Jackson's nowhere to be found. What if Michael Jackson built the Neverland Ranch to protect children from these Hollywood music industry pedos? What if he built that to make it a safe place for those kids?
That's an interesting theory. I hadn't thought about it that
I
way.
know that's crazy, but what if? Truth is stranger than fiction. Every sign, everything would lead you to believe that Michael Jackson was like probably the next highest level pedo next to Jeffrey Epstein. But you know, what if that's why they took him out? Because there were times he came out and started calling out the bigwigs in the music industry, saying that they were trying to control people and doing evil things, this, that, and the other. And then it wasn't long after that he was wild, man. Wild stuff. But I'm not going to get into all that. That's too much. That's too much for today. Let's see. O'Brien says that's what Corey Feldman said Michael Jackson did. He built that place to protect kids. I didn't realize Corey Feldman said that.
Got to admit, I didn't either.
And I mean, Corey Feldman's a little crazy, but is that who I saw live? Corey Feldman? He opened for Limp Bizkit a couple years ago. Is that right? Is that who I'm thinking of? Corey Feldman?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he opened because he plays music now. He opened for Limp Bizkit when we went to. Let me make sure I know who I'm talking about here. Pretty sure that's who it was. Corey Feldman. Yeah, that's him. He was the opening act at Oak Mountain Amphitheater. Craig Westbrook actually got me the tickets to that. And
Yeah, apparently he was on the entire 2024 tour.
yeah.
So there you go.
It was 24? Yeah, that's right. We went, and it was such a good show. We only caught the tail end of Corey Feldman. I don't know that his was that good because he's not really a musician, but he's another guy. Here's the thing, and I'm not trying to get deep off in this in the beginning, but from all the purported victims, I'm talking about for decades and decades, and you can go back and watch videos of people being interviewed, police being interviewed, talking about their interviews with child victims, this, that, and the other. They all seemingly have the same story. And it's a lot of people. They all come out with a same, if not very similar story as to what happened to them, not just in the world of entertainment when it comes to abuse, but also in the world of politics. And you got to ask yourself, man, if that many people have the same story, there's got to be something to it. Then you got Hillary's emails, Podesta, Epstein, and it all It all kind of ties together. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Charlie Kirk's accused assassin due in court today, apparently out of Provo, Utah. That is going to be. God, are we already at the date? Seems just like yesterday they had set the date. I guess today's February 3rd. So I guess they'll be getting this trial going. We'll keep an eye on that. We got the Savannah Guthries mom. Uh, what was her name? Nancy Guthrie.
I think so, yeah.
She went missing on Sunday. They said the newest details on that is that her pacemaker was last dinged by her Apple devices. I guess it was hooked to her phone or something.
Probably, yeah.
On Sunday morning. They said that the home, as they said yesterday, it was a crime scene. They said there was blood found there, and now they're just on a search mission to try to figure out where she is or what happened to her. She's got medicines that she's got to be taking every day. She's got all these medical problems. And so you can't imagine that whatever situation she's in, she's going to survive for very long. It's you know, it's sad. It's very sad. All right, so hey now, roll call. Let's go with early birds, which consist of Tracy, Jamie, Carrie, Jesse, and Peyton, all coming in just a little bit too early, which puts at the number one spot. Today's winner of the Hey Now roll call, and you get to pick the first song of the day, is none other than Mark Hanow. Congratulations, Mark. Good job, buddy. Bubba Rumble at number 2 and Maggie at number 3. Then you got Rusty, Tina, Gene, Leslie, Bo, Josh, Jeff with the J's. You got Grumpy Old Goat, Shane, Heath, Tracy, Ron with a whole lot of J's. You got Jay without any J's. You got Trent, Cherry, Scott, Rudy with the J's, Rick, Boomer, Joe, Bree, Michael B. Brad. You got Brian, Dexter, Richard the Cop. Hey now, everybody. Hello. Thank y'all for hanging out with us today. A lot to get to. We will make that happen once we get back on the other side. 205-545-9950. Kicking it off right after this. There's nothing I love more than a good old-fashioned country song about methamphetamine. It's actually my favorite. I love when country songs are about drugs.
Well, they do cause you to lose everything you have.
Yeah.
That's a typical country song.
Makes it more relatable, I feel. Is that Billy Strings, right? Is that who that is? Billy Strings. So, there you go. All right, 205-545-9950 if you want to get in. I believe, and I'm just seeing this for the first time, but do we have Tim McGraw tickets that we're giving away? Win them before you can buy them. Tim McGraw at the Coca-Cola Amphitheater, August 13th, along with special guest 49 Winchester? And you have a chance to win tickets to the show. Listen to Dixon and Vining, 6 to 10 a.m. for the keyword to text and be entered in to win tickets. That's going to be, I guess that's this week, huh? You giving them away this week?
Yeah, we're giving them away all this week. Started this morning.
Oh, how many tickets y'all got?
4 pair.
4 pair. Y'all could have thrown your boy a pair, and I could have done something to, I usually do things to make the audience embarrass themselves if I'm giving something away. So maybe that's why y'all didn't give me any.
You have to talk to Val about that. I don't know.
No, but seriously, y'all listen to Dixon Vining all week. They won't get you hooked up with some of them our tickets. Go see Tim McGraw. I have not been to the Coca-Cola Amphitheater yet.
You're not the only one. I haven't been there either. I've gone around it and seen it from afar, but I haven't seen a concert there.
I saw that Post Malone and Jelly Roll are coming to Protective Stadium.
I saw the billboard for that this morning.
Yeah.
I've already got it up on billboards around the city.
Yeah. That's probably going to be a pretty big show. Oh, and then you got the TP USA halftime show they announced yesterday. And, as a host, I'm kind of forced to watch both of them. I'm gonna have to watch the Bad Bunny gimmick so I can talk about whatever stupid stuff he did and how awful the music was. But I'm a big Kid Rock guy. Like I really like Kid Rock, so I want to see that as well. So I might just have to do 2 at once. And just try to keep up with both of them, I
wish you the best of luck with that.
Well, that's the thing. Like with the halftime show, even if you don't like Bad Bunny or you don't know who it is, you still have, we've spent all of our lives where watching the halftime show, whether it's good or bad, it's kind of a tradition. So it's hard to boycott it, I feel like. But, hopefully the thing that the TP USA does is a big production. I mean, they've done that pretty well in the past, but I hope they make it a big deal. I don't feel like I'm hearing enough about it. I heard more about it when they first announced that they were going to do it more than I have now that it's actually announced. And where is it at? Where are they holding it at? Are they doing it in Arizona?
No, I have to admit, I don't know where they're doing it.
Let me look at that real quick. TP USA halftime show is going to be in... It doesn't say where it's going to be at. Not on the flyer anyway. Just says where it's airing on all the socials, Daily Wire, Real America's Voice, TBN, National News Desk, Charge. What are these channels? I've never even heard
Charge
of these.
is a digital channel. I used to have to monitor that when I was working over at 21 and 68.
Oh, did they broadcast it on those channels?
Yeah, apparently they're going to put it on there.
What kind of programming is that?
Charge is usually, it's like old action TV shows, Magnum PI, A-Team, stuff like that.
Huh. Interesting. And then obviously it's going to be on YouTube, X, and Rumble, So it's Kid Rock, Bradley Gilbert, Lee Bryce and Gabby Barrett. And I don't know Lee Bryce or Gabby Barrett.
I don't know Gabby Barrett. Lee Bryce had a couple of country hits early part of the 2000s.
They should have put Kid Rock and Hank Williams Jr. Is Hank Williams Jr. still alive?
Oh, yeah.
Kid Rock and Hank Jr. And who else? Who else you could who else big that you could get on there that's not just completely lived out? It's hard to think of who could be in the mix. I don't know. You could put Gene Simmons up there. I mean, he seems kind of politically neutral, right?
Yeah, somewhat.
You know who
He doesn't really let his politics be known. That's the thing.
Well, you know
which
who
is not a bad thing.
I found out that is like super based. I found this out yesterday. Val Venus. I don't know if anybody remembers Val Venus from the WWF. He was the guy, and his character was like he was a porn star. I came across his Twitter, his X account, and he is super, super based. Like, he's calling out people left and right. He's calling out people like Cody Rhodes and Chelsea Green for being supportive of trans ideology. Taxation is theft. Abortion is murder. He's mocking people that pushed the COVID jab. like this dude's wild. That's a good fight. If you're not following that guy on Twitter, Val Venus, you need to do that, man. That's a good one. That's a real good one. All right, quick break. More of the line coming up. Another thing, and I'm done. I'm moving on to the news. Why is everybody doing these Chat GPT cartoon characters of themselves?
I wish I knew why that became a fad.
I
I
mean,
have no clue.
everybody's so impressionable, I feel like, especially on social media. Like everybody's doing it. And it's like everybody just kind of follows along with the crowd. Listen, if you want to do it, that's fine. I get it. It's a fun little thing, but I'm just like, it's all I see. I see everybody, the cartoon version of everybody. And it's like, I'm trying to watch cooking videos and cat videos. Okay.
I've actually never been on ChatGPT. I've never even looked at it.
I don't think we've used it, but maybe I think we've used it on the podcast like 2 or 3 times. But I just assume use Grok. You know,
Okay.
the X
Yeah, the one
Elon's
that's on X.
AI.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Because Grok has its own app, so you can, it's in the X app, but there's a more advanced version if you download the Grok app itself,
Oh,
and it'll do anything you want it to do.
all right.
And so it's
Even make an animated version of yourself, huh?
yeah, I should do that. I'd be like, y'all out here using Chat GPT, but here I am using Grok. Mine probably looks 10 times better.
Grok this, man.
Grok this, baby. All right, so the House is holding a test vote on, making sure reopening it's a partial shutdown of the government. They're trying to get it reopened. They're holding a test vote to see where everybody's at. The Democrats are demanding some pretty absurd things as far as allowing them to reopen the government. This wouldn't be a non-issue if we had eliminated the filibuster, but whatever. I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. Big news out of India, though. Trump and India's Prime Minister Modi have reached a historic trade agreement, including ending importation of Russian oil to India. That's a big one. In exchange, Trump basically announced that he said, hey, here's the deal. I will lower the tariff rate on goods coming to the U.S. out of India to 18% if you will pledge to me that you will stop buying Russian oil. Because I'm in the business of getting this war stopped, and for everybody across the globe that continues to buy Russian oil, they continue to fund this war. In exchange, Indian Prime Minister Modi has agreed that his country will stop buying Russian oil and will make a $500 billion investment in various U.S. industries and products. It wasn't enough for him to just stop buying oil. Donald Trump's like, I'm going to need you to send some money this way as well. 18% tariff is down from 50%, which had included a 25% reciprocal tariff that Trump put in place back in August to encourage India to stop buying Russian oil. He said in a Truth Social post, he said that, let me read this to you. It was an honor to speak with Prime Minister Modi of India this morning. He is one of my greatest friends and a powerful and respected leader of his country. We spoke about many things, including trade and ending the war with Russia and Ukraine. He agreed to stop buying Russian oil and to buy much more from the United States and potentially Venezuela. This will help end the war in Ukraine, which is taking place right now with thousands of people dying each and every week. Out of friendship and respect for Prime Minister Modi, and as per his request, effective immediately, we agreed to a trade deal between the United States and India, whereby the United States will charge a reduced reciprocal tariff, lowering it from 25% to 18%. Gave him 7 points. He's like, I can give you 7 points if you'll stop buying Russian oil and invest $500 billion into the U.S. They will likewise move forward to reduce their tariffs and non-tariff barriers against the United States to 0. He put 0 in all caps. The Prime Minister also committed to buy American at a much higher level, in addition to over $500 billion of U.S. energy, technology, agricultural, coal, and many other products. Our amazing relationship with India will be even stronger going forward. Prime Minister Modi and I are two people that get things done. something that cannot be said for most. Thank you for your attention to this matter. He's good. It's what he does too. He'll get in there. He'll kind of deal with them. He'll schmooze them. He'll butter them up, and he'll say, "Oh yeah, you're great and wonderful." And but here's the thing, man. We got to cut a deal. We got to cut a deal. And I know I got tariffs on you and everything else, and you got tariffs on me, but you're gonna have to bring the tariffs to zero, and you're gonna have to stop buying Russian oil, and you're gonna have to spend $500 billion in the U.S. What do you say? He's like, okay, thank you. And so he does that. Then he turns around, goes on social media, butters them up that way, and just art of the deal, baby. That's what that is. That is the art of the deal to a T. And it's what he's best at. And this is, there are such amazing accomplishments each and every week by this administration, by this president, that go unseen and unheard because the mainstream media will refuse to cover it. They will find the most controversial issue and they will lock in on it, nothing else. So the vast majority of Americans don't even know this stuff. They don't even know the deals that are being cut with countries every day. They don't know the wars, the 8 wars that have been ended. They don't know. A lot of them don't even know that the last body held by Hamas in Gaza has been returned to Israel. They don't know these things because nobody reports on them. Nobody. If it makes Trump look good, they're not going to report it. That's just the bottom line. And so it's on the Trump administration themselves, it's on the communications team, and it's on shows like this and podcasts and others to make sure you take those good things and you put them out there, that you don't get sucked into the trap of talking about chaos in Minneapolis day in and day out. It's easy to do, and we talk about it. I mean, ever since it's been going on, it's pretty much been a daily topic, but you got to put these other things out so people understand. And for those of you that are committed to Donald Trump and are going to, that voted for him or going to, support him or whatever, you need to know that too. For when you get confronted by, your liberal friends or whoever on Facebook, you need to know these things in order to pass that along. A lot of people aren't going to listen to you because they're programmed and propagandized into oblivion. But knowledge is power, as they say. We got to know these things. With that, as I noted, there's a test vote going on in the House, on the House floor, as to whether or not they are going to open back up the government or from the partial shutdown, and it is all along party lines. The Democrats are demanding no funding for DHS, no funding for ICE. They also want ICE to remove their masks. They want those individuals to be able to be doxxed. They want their families to be able to be harmed. There's no other logical reason as to why they want that. No other reason. And instead of going along and funding DHS and doing what they're currently, what Kristi Noem and others are currently doing, which is now providing all of these ICE agents with body cameras, they instead would rather hold the entire country hostage to prevent funding. Isn't this what they want? I mean, think about the summer of love, the Black Lives Matter movement. What was one thing they wanted? They wanted body cams on every single police officer. And they got it. Almost all cops have body cams now. And those body cams didn't really reap the benefits that the BLM crowd wanted. If anything, the body cams have protected more good cops than it's exposed bad cops. Because of the he said, she said, or this happened or that happened. Thank God for body cameras. Otherwise, there would be many more good cops' lives ruined.
So thanks for insisting on it.
Yes, thank you, Black Lives Matter, for insisting on that. And now that it's going to happen with ICE, it's going to make it even more difficult for them to continue this narrative of ICE agents being barbaric thugs that just want to go around and beat up people and break up brown families, which is the most absurd line of thinking I've ever heard. Do these people ever think about the fact that, these ICE agents are regular people too? That they're regular people with families, with a wife, with a kid, with kids that they love, that they want to go home to, that maybe even they're patriotic, and the reason they're even in that industry is because they want to help protect the homeland. You ever thought about that? We also found out that the two police officers that fired upon Alex Preddy were Hispanic. That's right, Hispanic. Another thing the media won't be reporting because that is an inconvenient truth. I told that in a conversation I had just the other day. I was like, do you know there is a large number of ICE agents, Border Patrol as well, that are Hispanic? That you've made this whole thing about Hispanic families, and that's all they concentrate on. They don't concentrate on any other country. They don't care about any other country. They don't care about people from Kenya or people from Haiti or wherever. They don't care about those immigrants. They only care about the ones from Mexico and Guatemala and El Salvador. Do you realize that a lot of the individuals that are here legally not only support what is happening in curbing illegal immigration, but care so much about it that they've joined ICE, that they joined Border Patrol to help fight that fight? Inconvenient truths. So anyway, I say all that to say, with the House running a test vote on funding the government as we speak, there is a situation. I heard this from Anna Paulina Luna last night. She says that Senate leadership is moving towards nuking the so-called zombie filibuster and restoring an old school, what they call a standing filibuster, to advance the Save America Act, which is legislation that requires proof of U.S. citizenship to vote. Crazy legislation, I know. And what this is, in so many words, is the filibuster originally was a deal where if you didn't have the votes, or say Republicans don't have the 60 votes required, that, or if they do have the votes required, that the opposing party, the Democrat Party, could block the vote by speaking at the podium. And as long as they were standing and speaking at the podium, the vote couldn't take place. But they had to be standing. They had to be standing there. They had to be speaking. They could rotate or whatever they want to do, but they had to be there. And there have been some instances in the past of people speaking, 17, 18, 24 hours standing at a podium, just yammering about whatever. That's the way it was supposed to be. That was called the standing filibuster. And then over the past few years, people like Nancy Pelosi and others changed it to what they called the zombie filibuster, which meant that they could essentially filibuster without even being at the Capitol. So if they didn't like a bill, they didn't have to go in there and physically stop it. They didn't have to go in there and physically stand there and speak and filibuster. That they could just vote it in and be like, nah, we're filibustering. We don't like it. So according to Luna, Senate leadership is going to axe that and put them in a position where these old crusty white people have to stand there at the podium and speak for hours on end if they want to stop the vote for the SAVE Act. Now, will that make a difference? I don't know. But she seems to be pretty confident about it. The SAVE Act is one of the most important pieces of legislation that sits in Congress right now. And it has to be passed. Like, there is No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's got to be done. 205-545-9950. More of the line coming up right after this. Here's the reason the SAVE Act needs to be passed. One reason and one reason only. If it's not, it is highly possible that the Trump administration is over. Like, that's it. We got 2 good years out of it, and that's it. Why? Because they will be allowed to steal the elections in the midterms as they accuse Donald Trump with the raid in Fulton County of trying to steal the midterms. They are doing the same thing. As you know, if they accuse you of something, if they accuse the Trump administration of something, they are in fact guilty of it themselves. They out themselves every single time. Here's an example. Look at the results of a Texas state Senate race this past weekend. A lot of people didn't pay attention to it. Wasn't that big a deal, state Senate race. A Democrat ended up defeating a beautiful, well spoken female Republican candidate by 14 points, which is a landslide in a deep red district, Fort Worth, Texas, where Trump won by 17 points in the last election. And the Republican candidate badly outspent the Democrat who literally had no chance to win. So, what conclusions are to be drawn from that? Number one, the election was rigged. And once again, by dirty, corrupt Democrats. Yes, even in deep red Texas. Until we fix election integrity problems and make elections safe and honest again, we can trust no result, even in Texas. Anyone on the MAGA side who trusts these results is either a fool, incompetent, naive, delusional, or playing for the other side, and you're just pretending. Number two, the election was held on a Saturday. You may ask yourself, why? Why would they hold an election on a Saturday? It was also on a blustery cold weekend right after a large snow and ice storm came through Texas. Few Republican voters even knew it was happening, but the Democrat candidate had every union in the state behind him, and they got out the vote, which means the Texas GOP is an incompetent failure, if that is in fact the case. Number three, Republicans and MAGA voters are so angry and disgusted at the do-nothing GOP Congress and their refusal to either pass the SAVE Act or kill the filibuster that they just won't come out and vote anymore for the GOP. That's a possibility, which means the entire GOP, the RNC, and GOP Congress are all incompetent, do-nothing failures. Or could it be number four? The GOP messaging is the worst of all time. Democrats have convinced the whole country, even Texas, that two dead insurrectionists fighting and threatening ICE in the middle of riots are more important than thousands of dead Americans that were murdered, raped, robbed, and assaulted annually by illegal aliens. And over 1 million dead American kids in the past decade killed by drugs like fentanyl brought into the U.S. and sold on street corners in Democrat-run cities by illegal aliens and drug cartel gangs. If that's true, then America is completely lost and finished. And the GOP leadership is to blame for the worst messaging of all time. Or could it be number five? Is it simply the media psyop? The people are being gaslighted and brainwashed by the mainstream media, like Kool-Aid drinking Stepford wives. The media is trying to desperately convince us that Donald Trump's an evil man, that he's mean, that he's a Hitler-like criminal, despite the fact that Donald Trump just enjoyed another remarkable week of success. Donald Trump achieves more each week than any other president in history ever achieved in 2 terms, including Ronald Reagan. And then the next week, the following week, Trump does it again. But as I said, most voters have no idea of any of Trump's remarkable nonstop success because it's a total media blackout and a psyop. And they're trying to convince us, they're trying to convince you that everyone hates this evil mass deportation by Trump and ICE. Despite the fact that Obama took credit for deporting 3 million illegals, nobody said a thing. There was no protest. There were no media headlines. There was not a peep. And most of those deported illegals were not murderers or felons of any kind. They were ordinary illegal aliens. No one said a word. No peep. No protest. And 50-plus illegal died in custody of ICE under Obama. Nobody said a word. Because it's only a problem if Trump did it. Out of those 5 choices, they may all be true. There definitely is a media